Yeah, I was going to ask this earlier because it was like an interesting thought when you were talking about the way people act online. And I was going to ask you, do you think, like, what would be your stance on, like, de-anonymizing the internet? To the extent that it could be done.
I would say, like, I have a protopian view and a utopian view.
Okay.
So my protopian view is that you cannot erase an anonymity on the internet, because then you're essentially saying to use the internet, you have to give up your right of anonymity, which I think that is just a stretch in America. But my protopian view of it, or excuse me, my utopian view of it would be that I would fucking love if voting was through fucking Facebook. Everybody had you sign up with your you get your driver's license or whatever, you sign up for Facebook, and now I can just put it on the blockchain,
your ID and your
100%.
profile.
100%. Everything, like, if my Twitter had to be me and my Facebook had to be me and all of my social media had to be me, and then I could use it to just I walk into a store and I'm like, oh yeah, it's me. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll just bill you when you walk out. You know, like anything like that where I don't have to keep showing ID or keep proving these things. But with our government being the way that it is, and the fuck shit that they do, and the NSA and the Patriot Act and all the things I've seen in my
and those big corporations.
Lifetime. Well, that too, with their data mining and their just giving that shit to the government like willy fucking nilly. Yep. Where it used to be, I remember when Apple used to be like, we're not going to open up the phone of the Boston bomber because we can't unlock somebody's phone. Yeah. And now here they are like, yeah, we'll scan all your images for child porn. It's like, how long? Yeah. Like, that was only like a fucking like 10-year period where they switched that shit up. They went from the big muscular dog to the little weakling dog. 100%. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So with that being the actual case, we could never have it the way that I would want it to be. Yeah. I just don't think we could ever be able to have anonymity gone from the internet, but that would be a solution in my eyes.
It's the equivalent of having your ID tattooed on your forehead to me.
Yeah, barcoded.
Like like if you had to have your social security number just imprinted on your head so that everybody knew exactly who you were from looking at. Like, I don't like that at all. Like that.
Yeah, that would have totally ruined the whole I'm going out for a pack of cigarettes and then just driving 6 towns down and having a new life type of situation.
You'd never be able to do it.
Like
and I mean, the internet already made that extremely difficult, but you can still pull it off. Like you could easily pack up and just move to some other metropolitan city and just be a completely different person.
I abandoned my social media presence multiple times in my life.
100%.
Completely abandoned.
But I'm against ID from the start. Like, I hate that. I hate like stamping us like we're fucking cattle with our serial number and everything and being like, make sure you track that one.
Well, I'll tell you right,
let it get away.
I'll tell you right now, if they ever tried to be like, oh, you have to legit show like ID or have some sort of like proof to like have an internet presence, you think they're crying Mark of the Beast now?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, would they cry Mark of the Beast?
I would.
Everybody would, because it's like it's one step below chipping.
Well, because you know that's the scary thing to me is like, you know, we're talking about killing you, and that's scary as it is, but there's so many other things like.
Most people, they don't need to kill.
You listen to Edward Snowden's story and them they can't go anywhere. Like I said, think about how hard that life is, where you don't know if the guy bagging your grocery is really like a fucking trained multinational assassin here to kill you. That everywhere you go, you're like looking over your shoulder. One of my scariest things in my situation right now is that I only have an American passport. I want a passport from a different country like more than I like want oxygen sometimes, because I'm just like, damn, if you are accused of a crime, they can shut your passport down and everything. You don't have to be convicted. You don't have to go to prison. None of that. You don't have to have no day in court. They could just be like, yo, this dude's a national threat or whatever, and you're done. You're locked down, bro. Anything that you do, anywhere you go, they'll have you, and they'll just snatch you up. And I hate that. Now imagine, too, now you can't even get on the internet anymore. Your cell phone shut down because that's you, and everything that is your life, period, it can be evaporated from you at any blink of an eye.
That's what scares me about the concept of, and I bring it up all the time, but cancel bot. You know, having some sort of AI or robot or algorithm that is just like scanning you for controversies.
Yep.
You said the N-word on Facebook and then deleted it. You know, like I have all the proof.
It's like that Vicky program from iRobot.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's like Skynet type shit where they just, this is our social credit algorithm AI system. And then, it's called George. And now all of a sudden George is like George is watching.
Yeah. You better believe that if, let's say you, Mac, were deemed some sort of criminal by the CIA, they could access every element of your life and find a way to take you down, whether it's from something you've said or done in private or a conversation you've had that was like off the rails or something. They could like
build a whole case.
They could build a whole case against you just off of using their covert means to assess you. Now give that to a robot that is 1,000 times faster, 1,000 times smarter, who can make decisions at the speed of light. And that's something that once we get to that level of technology, we need to fucking address privacy on the internet. We need to have like a blockchain or something, because we cannot have these NSA, CIA programs.
I just keep
killing you for your tweets.
Killing you because it's something you said you're in the shower and you're just like, I fucking hate black people. And then just they bust in through the wall. Cancelbot said you hate black people. Bring them in.
We got a distress call from Cancelbot.
Because this is freedom. In America, we have freedom of speech. We don't have freedom of consequence, but we have freedom of speech. You should be able to think and say whatever the fuck you want as long as it doesn't hurt other people.
Yep.
It's
And
just the basic
even the government.
This whole thing is just making me like two small points. That one thing that gets me is like, because of my sort of anti-state views, like the more we go down this road, the more kind of like paranoid I get, because, you know, you see like the headlines or like the first sentence in articles that we're talking about like Cuba, and it's like Cubans chant in quotes freedom end quote and other anti-government slogans, and it's like, what? Like now chanting freedom in the streets is anti-Cuban government. And so it's like, ooh, you know, when you start getting to that point, it gets scary. But I just keep thinking about how like one day all three of us are going to turn into that scene from when Rick and Morty where Rick's playing that Roy game and he's like, all the crowd starts following him around him and it's like a life simulation game. And he's like, look, this dude's taking Roy off the grid. He's burning his social security card.
Holy shit! This guy's taking Roy off the grid! This guy doesn't have a social security number for Roy!
And I just keep thinking, like, eventually it's going to get to the point where everybody's like, I got to erase every, like, form of, you know, identification that I have, because otherwise I'm going to be, you know, like, it's...
I mean, it might get to a point...
And that's why people are afraid of the chips, because it's like, you know, you can falsify your identity and, you know, get rid of your birth records and stuff. Like, there's ways to go about it now. But if they start implanting shit in you, like, what are you going to do?
Well,
get a knife and dig that shit out?
You used to have to catch the guy and make him put his thumb on a thing. Now you just catch him on a CCTV and scan his face.
Or he drops a cigarette butt and get his DNA.
Get you. So it's already getting
That's the hardest
so
thing
hard.
in the crime. Like, you can't even cry. You can't sweat. There's no pissing.
Hey, that's how Prince Andrew got away.
Yeah, there's no
fucking
sweat. Yeah, there's no fucking spitting. Like, I swear to God, like, I've always thought about it would be a funny thing in like a sitcom if two dudes are like breaking in somewhere and some dude hawks a loogie and he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you trying to get us fucked up, dog? You better go clean that spit up.
Like, what? I just spit. They're never going to know that's my spit. They're never going to swab that part of the sidewalk. What if they do? Get down there and clean that shit up. Did you bring the bleach?
Where's the carpet on your shoes? Did you put the carpet on your shoes? I swear to God, if you don't have carpet on your shoes, I'm out.